back in the Toyota Tacoma. I missed it. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Robmotive. That's right. We, Krista's actually sitting right over there, are back in the Toyota Tacoma. I've been away for a while. We've been away for a while. I was in Ohio. Krista was in Canada about 2.5 months. But now we're back. And man, am I glad to be back and have my vehicles back. If you didn't watch the other videos, I was driving around in a 2003 Mercedes, which I love, by the way. It may have made me, or maybe not, want to get one. We'll see. That's for a different video. But in getting back in the Toyota, the Tacoma specifically, you know, there's a few things I noticed. First of all, right off is the exhaust. It is rather loud. You know, you don't really realize it, I guess, until you're away for a while and then you come back. I have the dual exhaust. It's the Flowmaster on the Tacoma. You guys certainly can hear it in the background. A lot of grumble, a lot of sound when you're speeding up. And I know Krista loves it. She's considering putting the same thing on her Jeep Wranglers. Am I right? No, you don't think so?
I like mine.
She likes hers. So, and she just has stock. There's no aftermarket on hers. But I like it. And you can hear now as I'm really just coasting, we don't get any sound. But as soon as I get on the gas, you've got some sound. I don't think it's overbearing. You can hear it in the background, like right now when we're driving, but I don't think it's overbearing. I think it's just right for what I wanted. Now, a little caveat to that, if I drove it every day, I suppose eventually you might get sick of hearing it, but it's definitely not as bad as an exhaust that I had on a Jeep Wrangler years ago. That thing was very tinny sounding and loud all the time. It had a drone constantly, and it drove me nuts. I didn't keep it very long. Ended up putting the stock exhaust back on it because it was just, woo! That's a bit of a quick turn right there. Did you hear the tires? But anyway, I dig it. Now, other things I've noticed, first of all, air conditioning. Obviously, the Mercedes had air conditioning, and it worked just fine, but it feels to me like the Tacoma is just a little bit stronger. So for everybody out there who complains about the Tacoma not having a strong enough air conditioner, I think you're wrong. I think you've just gotten used to it, and maybe if you drove something else that wasn't as strong, like an old Mercedes, you might appreciate the Tacoma a little bit more. Feels pretty good to me when it's 90 degrees outside and humid where I'm at right now. What about the ride? Well, obviously the Mercedes is a luxury car, right? It had a much smoother ride. You know, it kind of just glided along, even though it was 19 years old. Still had a smoother ride than my new-ish, it's a 2021 Toyota Tacoma. And it is lifted in the front. I've got the bigger tires and all that stuff, so it doesn't make for a real smooth ride. But I have missed the feel of it. It feels good to me. It's not so bad that you can't stand it. I mean, that's always the fear when you put something different on, that you're going to completely ruin the ride quality. I don't think that happened with the Tacoma. It just made it a little bit firmer. Do you notice any difference in it? I mean, compared to what? I know you didn't drive anything in Canada, but you drove with me a little bit when we were in Columbus.
It's a little rougher.
You think it's a little rough?
Yeah.
Well, I dig it. I like it. Next up is the view. You know, I've been driving trucks for years now, right? And every truck that I have is lifted to some extent, except for the Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz is stock, but every other one I've had, I've lifted, and it makes a big difference. You know, one thing that I noticed when I went to the car, the Mercedes, was how low I sat. This gets you up in the air where you can see everything. You can see everybody, every car, all that stuff. Just gives you a bit better perspective, I guess, when you're driving around, particularly in traffic, which is not something we have a lot of here. When I was in Columbus, a lot more traffic there. Bumper to bumper, people zigging and zagging out of the lanes. It's much better to be able to see what everybody else is doing. I don't have to worry so much about that here, but I do like the stance and being able to sit up in the air and just have a better vantage, a better view in this truck than what I get out of a car. Now, fuel economy. We have to talk about fuel economy because, of course, I was dumping gas in the Mercedes. That's probably a wash because the Mercedes took premium gas. When I first got to Columbus, I paid $5.54 a gallon for premium gas. Then we found this Sheetz gas station, something I wish we had here, but they're not down here in the South. They give you a discount. I was getting 15 cents per gallon off from that point on. Made that premium gas bill just a little bit more palatable, but still a lot more expensive. The Tacoma, of course, burns just regular 87 octane, and that's perfectly fine in the Tacoma. And I know there's a lot of people out there who claim that if you put higher octane, you know, premium or whatever in the Tacoma, you'll get better fuel economy, you'll have better power. I say that's a bunch of BS. I've done it. I've never noticed any difference myself. I think sometimes there's just a placebo effect, you know. People do things and then miraculously there's some huge improvement. I don't see that when I've done those things with the Tacoma. Now, another thing I want to mention is the power. You know, I have the Sprint booster on here, which I love, by the way. In my opinion, no Toyota Tacoma should ever be driven without a Sprint booster in it, at least the late third model or third generation models. It makes a profound difference. The Mercedes, though, was not a slow car. It was a V6, I think. Might have even been an 8, I'm not sure. But it was pretty quick, too. So I wasn't really lacking in power. Off the line, it was fun. And I would say the Tacoma is probably, with the Sprint booster, just a slight bit slower, which is saying a lot because the Tacoma is not known for speed anyway. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, well, you're driving a truck, you shouldn't expect it to be fast. Well, why not? I mean, I spend 40 grand for a truck. Why can't it be fast? Well, the Tacoma can be if you put the Sprint booster in it. I love that. One thing I'm not looking forward to in the Tacoma, it's filthy dirty. I did not wash it before we left. And of course, it just accumulated more and more dust and pollen and grit and all that stuff. So I'm going to have to wash it. I'm not looking forward to doing that. It's 90s and humid here. I'll probably sweat all over it just as much as I'm trying to clean it. Not something I'm looking forward to. One other thing I do want to mention before I sign off, you know, when I was in Ohio, there is a huge difference in the type of vehicles that you see. Mostly cars, a lot of electric vehicles, Teslas and stuff driving around, some SUVs and things, but not a whole lot of trucks, particularly Tacomas. I've been spoiled here. You can't go anywhere without driving around and seeing a Toyota Tacoma. Right now, I'm driving behind the new Maverick. Not a favorite of mine, but there's just a lot more trucks down here. Feels more at home because that's what I'm used to. Anyway, just wanted to get on here, give you guys a bit of an update. I'm sure you've noticed I haven't had the Tacoma in many videos. It's because I haven't been near the Tacoma. Leave a comment. Let me know when you go traveling or maybe you're driving something else. Do you miss your Toyota Tacoma? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Robmotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator, and Robmotive MT, all about compact trucks. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.